Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Give me a thumbs up, everybody, if you're good to go.
No. That's not a thumb, Flerick.
3 out of 4 ain't bad. Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan. Jake, we have started the episode, so we can hear from you.
I don't want to though.
This is Flerick.
And this is Mac.
Are you muted, Jake?
No.
Okay, there he is.
Just let the man be. Just let the man be.
How you doing, Jake?
Just
How's it going?
it's just not funny anymore. You know?
No,
It's not.
it
I
really
don't know.
isn't.
I think it's pretty funny.
It's
Flerick.
so funny, and that's what makes it not funny at all.
Okay, so I thought it was hilarious at first.
Okay.
First.
Mm.
And then I very quickly was just like, oh, but once he was like very clearly suffered some sort of head injury or something like that, then it sucked all the joy out of that moment for 3 out of 4 of us.
It's
I'm
kinda
actually
like
really-
the worst possible thing that could have happened.
Yeah.
I'm actually really happy that Abi took it in the end because of that. Because I
Of course you
rather
are,
not
you
the weird-
contrarian turd.
I was gonna say no. Like after once again, we can get into it a little later. I'll save this.
let's
discussion.
hold
Let's
on
get
to
let's get the episode.
Yeah. Welcome to the 2022 Kyushu recap episode.
Oh,
Where-
come on, say it. At least say the right.
Do it right.
The 2022 Kyushu Review-shu episode.
There we
where-
go.
As
Don't take that from me too.
as you might have found out, Takayasu did indeed blow a 1-match lead going into day 15, and Abi won the Yusho in controversial fashion in I'm going to say a very disappointing 3-way playoff. But
it was still a Tomoe.
it was still a Tomoe Sen, but we'll get to it. The wind was definitely taken out of the sails from it, I think. But before we dive into that, we have got to give some compliments to our friends on our Patreon. If you want to join the Grand Sumo Breakdown Patreon, you only need to sign up for $1 a month. That will get you a compliment on each basho of the year, or you can sign up at the $3 level, which will also get you a compliment. But you can also ask us any question that you desire, and we are honor bound to answer it. Mac, why don't you list off our patrons for this episode?
Indeed, I shall. To Glenn Otto, Thora Cottrell, Barron, Joe Hobbs, Devin Peterson, Stephen Ward, Alex Hearn, DK. So I gotta do a throwback on that one because
Obviously.
just
Yeah.
Heather Jockins, Dick Flair, Robbie Gardner, Summer, Rob Graham, Corey with a K, Jeffrey Armando, and Paul Simpson. Your support is more exciting than a 3-way playoff on the last day of the tournament.
Which
Certainly more exciting
is-
than this one.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm just saying. Overall, people usually get pretty hyped for a 3-way playoff on the last day of a tournament.
Yeah.
So thank you all.
Jake, I know you are just drowning in a mountain of sadness. Probably a little bit of sleep
You
deprivation.
should make sure to bring it up.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
over
ask,
and
like,
over
did
again.
you actually stay up to watch the matches?
Yes, I did.
Oh dear.
Oh,
It was awful.
And
And I'm tired.
I
but
bet.
is there anything on the amateur front that you want to talk about that might brighten your mood for at least a minute or two?
Yeah, let me forget about my professional sumo fandom because it's a stupid sport anyways for a moment. Coming up next weekend on the 3rd of December, we have the Ronin Sumo Tournament. That is going to be streamed live on YouTube. I believe it'll probably be on our channel, or else I am not sure if Ronin Sumo, if they have their own YouTube channel yet. Either way, it'll be out there. We'll tweet/Instagram about it and stuff. And then later in the month of December, we will have a end of year recap episode, similar to the one that we do for Pro Sumo. We'll have one of those on Amateur Sumo. I'm not going to put Ryan and Flerick through that, but me and Mac will have some other guests with whom we will cover Amateur Sumo.
Yeah. Sounds like that should be a great time. And another thing to brighten your mood just a little bit, Jake, Yokozuna Fleric. I defer to your greatness and in all things, and you are truly the best of us. 4 wins out of 6 bashos this year. I could only hope to achieve such heights, much like I did in 2021. But
Fleric has to do a punishment this episode, and he also
does.
won.
Yeah,
That's true.
and
This
he also
doesn't-
didn't do the punishment this
Also,
this
yes.
episode.
Oh, yeah.
As a Yokozuna shouldn't have to, you know.
You know,
Fleric, you
I
should make
think-
your Sukebito do it.
I was gonna say, Sukibita, you're making a lot of sense. You're speaking a lot of sense.
That a lot more sense than I was making when I made my picks for the and Jake's got to be happy about it, because in order for him to not be involved with the punishment at all, he needed to get points from both of his guys, and for me to get no points from either of my guys, and that's exactly what happened. A come from behind 3rd place victory for Jake, as I once again suffered the bitter taste of defeat. So Jake, that's all the happiness you get on this episode, as we do need to talk about the results of the basho, where as mentioned before, your Yusho winner is going to be first time Yusho winner, 3rd Maegashira winner in a row, first time in sumo history that has happened. This is the 36th Maegashira Yusho winner, and we have seen 1/12 of those occurrences this year.
Oh man.
Abi, I don't think I said his name yet. Maegashira,
no, you didn't.
Abi, 12-3 record, won his final, I guess technically 7 matches, 5 in regulation, 2 in a 3-way playoff to win his first career Yusho. We talked about it a little bit on the preview episode. We thought he could be in line for this. We asked which Maegashira did we think is most likely to win a Yusho? I said Abi, much because last time we saw him at this position on the Bansuke, he went 12-3, and that's exactly what he did this time. And this time that mark was good enough to win the basho. We had a couple of June Yusho winners, neither one of them feeling much like a winner today, I'm sure. The first one being Ozeki Takakeisho, also with a 12-3 mark. It always surprises me every time I read off this number for Takakeisho, and it keeps going up. But this is his 8th career June Yusho for Takakeisho. This is his first time.
He's back, baby.
He is back. This is his first time with 3 consecutive double-digit winning records since his initial Ozeki run back at the end of 2018 and beginning of 2019. So this is the best stretch we have seen from Takakeisho since he initially became an Ozeki. But he has 8 career June Yushos. He's so close to having like 5 career June Yushos and 5 Yushos, because he is now 1-3 in playoff matches.
Ooh.
He's lost in a playoff to Mitake Yumi. He beat Teranofuji in one, but then he also lost to Teranofuji in another and lost to Abi in this playoff. So Takakeisho is... It always surprises me how good he actually is, probably because everybody else sucks so much. It's so weird seeing these inflated like June Yusho numbers and like how many playoff losses he has. He's just, when he's healthy, he's very consistent and very happily an Ozeki level Rikishi. And he was on his best behavior. He's no longer evil Takakeisho. That moniker has been taken over
That
by
has been
another.
passed.
Indeed it has.
Very non-controversial torch passing for who is the next evil guy. I think that's going to be a unanimous one.
Yep. And earplugs, Jake, for you right now. Maegashira won Takayasu, 7th career June Yusho for him. He lost his 2nd Yusho playoff just this year. This year, he is 1-3 when having the solo lead after day 10. Anytime he's been close to a Yusho this year, he has immediately lost. There's one win in a couple of bashos would have earned him his first Yusho. He very clearly, I think after this one, people can't deny it too much more. There's a mental thing for him when it comes to winning the Yusho, and it's just something that we don't know if he'll ever get over. All right, Jake, you're good. Put your headphones back on.
It's like we said, only Takayasu can beat Takayasu.
You were talking about choking, weren't you?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Let's move on to our special prize winners. The Gino Show Technique Prize went to Sekiwake Hoshoryu. This is his second career technique prize and his second special prize overall. Let's talk a little bit more about Hoshoryu here. He was somebody that was alone in the lead after day 11, I believe. He was like 10-1. But then he dropped 3 in a row. He lost to Oho, surprisingly.
Bad losses. They did not look good.
Yeah.
Oho has a winning record against Hoshoryu. I think 3-1.
Yep. I believe Hoshoryu lost to Abi, but just a real bad streak at the end for Hoshoryu that cost him the Yusho. So maybe he's got to kind of dig deep when things are on the line as well. I don't think it's an uncommon thing for people to feel pressure and not perform. But a little disappointing end to the basho for Hoshoryu, but he was able to get a nice day 15 win over Kiribayama to secure the technique prize, as he needed to get a win on day 15 to earn the special prize. The Shukun Show Outstanding Performance Prize goes to Takayasu. This is his 4th career Outstanding Performance Prize and his 12th special prize overall. And then the Kanto Show Fighting Spirit Prize goes to Abi, his 4th career Fighting Spirit Prize and the 5th overall. I apologize, I don't have the name of who commented this to us on Twitter, but somebody commented to us. It's like, kind of weird that they gave the Fighting Spirit Prize to the guy that did a Hanka in the playoff for the U Show. And I agree, but also they give the prizes at the end of day 14 prior to the day 15 matches. So
Right.
It made sense at the time.
At the time,
And
it was
then
okay.
day 15 happened.
And then Kakayaki deserves a special place in hell for losing to Takada Fuji on day 15, which made me the sole loser for this prediction series. So burn in hell, Kakayaki.
I've always rated Kagayaki. Always rated him.
So credit to that comment for about Abi goes to Scott Hendry on Twitter. Very, very well put. But yeah, freaking Kagayaki loses to 2-12 Takada Fuji when Kagayaki could get 10 wins for the first time in like 3 or 4 years in the top division.
I didn't get that either.
He always finds, and it didn't even look like he was trying. I don't want to say it was fixed, but he might have kind of felt bad for Takada Fuji. Didn't want him to drop down to Juryo or something. Might have just kind of went soft on him. Or maybe
big
Kagayaki
allegation.
just effing sucks.
Dude, it's Kagayaki.
Yeah.
He disappointed in every possible sense. Yeah.
So
he did very well, so I didn't get very many points in our prediction series. And obviously the one loss that he did get towards the end there, broke your heart. Well, I mean, a little bit.
Yeah, so clearly the evil moniker transferred from Takakesho to Kagayaki here. I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah, that's what I was
Okay,
talking
now
about
wait a
earlier.
minute.
I
How
don't know who
many
else.
monikers are we going to hand out here?
There's at least 2 or 3 people leaving this basho with the evil moniker. All right, let's dive into how the Yusho was won by Mr. Abi. And it all comes down to day 15. Takayasu alone in the lead with a 12-2 record, going up against Abi, who has an 11-3 record. If Takayasu wins the match in regulation, he would win the Yusho outright. If Abi wins, he would force at least a playoff between himself and Takayasu. And if Takakesho defeats Wakataka Kage later on in the day, then it would be a 3-way playoff. Obviously, based on how we talked, you know how this went. Takayasu versus Abi won. Abi, it was a good back and forth match. Neither one really getting the advantage.
It was a great match.
It was a great match. It was a very fun match. Went on plenty of drama. Like both of these guys were fighting for the Yusho. You could tell that they had a lot on the line, and both of them fought like it. Abi ended up taking that first match, and it's not a huge shock because these guys were, I believe, 4-4 against each other coming into the tournament, and then Abi winning the previous 2 against Takayasu. So Abi now has Takayasu's number a little bit, as he's won 3, then 4 consecutive matches against Takayasu. So
I'm sorry, are you trying to justify that somebody other than Takayasu beats Takayasu there? Saying that there's a perfectly
Jake,
reasonable explanation for Abi beating him there.
Something that's always impressed me about Abi is his leaps at the edge of the dojo, but he's clearly leaving the ground. You have to time that right. He's in the air. There's no possible defense for him to get shoved out. Takayasu needs to take advantage of that.
He's quick. Yeah, Abi definitely has a style. It's like impressive. Like the wins, like that. Like I said, that match he had was just a very, very impressive win. And like you say, like he has a very good style, like against the Tuara. He's like quick. It's
He just like side hops. It's crazy, and it works.
Yeah, when it works, it's just fantastic to watch.
So yeah, Abi wins round 1 here, and then we have Takakeisho versus Waka Takakage to see if Takakeisho can join and win his 3rd Yusho. Takakeisho does another pretty good match between these two, but Takakeisho was able to keep the pressure up on Waka Takakage, never gave Waka Takakage a chance to get inside of Takakeisho, grab Takakeisho's belt at all, and eventually Takakeisho was able to step aside and slap Waka Takakage down to the ground. And what ended up 8-7 performance for Waka Takakage, but disappointing performance by Watakage this basho.
Yeah, one thing that I just noticed watching this one is that probably the thing I weirdly kind of like about Takakeisho. Takakeisho brings like that brutality from his Ozeki, you know.
Totally.
Like I think there's like that old school, like when someone goes against Ozeki, he's going to like just destroy you. He's going to use everything. You're going to get beat up when you go up against him. And I think Takakeisho definitely kind of like inherited, like he definitely has personified that. He's the Ozeki who's gonna wreck you during that time. If you go in there, you're gonna have to go ready to like actually box
with those freaking haymakers, man.
He's gonna make you earn it.
So that leads us to a Tomoe Sen playoff. That's a 3-way playoff where they draw lots, and 2 Rikishi determine who will be the first 2 to face off. The winner of that match will face off against the 3rd, and then they just keep going around in a circle until a Rikishi wins 2 consecutive matches. So it started off, the lots were drawn, and we have a rematch between Takayasu and Abi. Jake, you were the one with the most vested interest in this. What was you're watching this live. What's your thoughts heading into the playoff after Takayasu's lost? You know, it's a 3-way playoff. Kind of where's your head at?
I was already broken.
Okay.
You knew it was coming after that.
When he lost to Abi in regulation, it's like, okay. Yeah.
There's no way he's winning 2 in a row.
Destiny at that point that like,
yeah.
Were you expecting another close match like the first one?
I don't know. I guess I don't know what I was expecting as far as the match goes. I just knew that it was disappointment. Yeah. And to rub salt in the wound, it wasn't even a very good Henka.
No,
no, it wasn't great.
It wasn't. It was a flying Henka.
Like if Takayasu hadn't
flying, he got like an inch off the ground and like kind of like
he just came off of ankle surgery. Cut him some slack.
Yeah,
for him it was flying, and it was still upward momentum when he was jumping.
Yeah, I have a quote, I guess, from the broadcast where it said, "I didn't intend to Henka. I just wanted to hit and shift, but Takayasu came in so hard I was moved back. I'm glad I was able to give something good after the trouble I've caused. Crying. I trained very hard after my injury and listened to my Oikata. This is the result." And
sure.
a little more context. Apparently, his Oikata's in the hospital at the moment. So
really?
No,
that's too bad.
Time. Mm-hmm.
Don't feel bad for Abi here. Don't do that.
I feel bad for Shikoro Yama.
It's his Oyakata.
Okay,
we
good.
feel bad for the Oyakata.
None of that
Jake.
goes Abi's way.
I want to make sure it is Shikoro Yama Oyakata. Yeah, Shikoro Yama.
Yep.
Yeah, it is Shikoro.
You're right on.
All right.
It was definitely a Henka. There's like he wanted to hit and shift, but it's kind of like just
he was
so
going
weird.
sideways immediately.
Yeah, he was clearly going sideways.
I think that's a way try to save face a little bit. I think 100% his plan. Go in there, Henka, win the match, give Takakeisho second thoughts so that he can just go straight through Takakeisho in the second match. So Takakeisho holds up at the Tachiai, expecting possibly a Henka. Abi runs right through him, and that's exactly what happened.
It worked.
I think it was all gamesmanship on Abi's part. The strategy worked out perfectly. Whether we like it is a different thing.
Yeah. I mean, game recognized game. I do appreciate his strategy. If he had also Henka Takakeisho, then he would be my new favorite wrestler. You know? If he had done it twice, that would have sealed the deal. But as is, even that he messes up, and it's just disappointing.
But yeah, Jake, as you mentioned, I think it was you. It wasn't even that great of a Henka.
Yeah,
I think if Takayasu hadn't hit his head, neck weirdly into Abi's shoulder, I don't think Takayasu goes down at that point. I think it was due to the injury that he sustained there is the reason why Takayasu went down, because it seemed like they still made decent amount of contact. I don't think Takayasu was completely thrown off balance there. So I think it's a combination of, yeah, Abi, you hanked.
you hanked.
But also Takayasu head, neck, whatever sort of injury he sustained there just immediately took him down. And let's talk about that. Unfortunately, oh, sorry, Flair, you had another point.
I have a point on that whenever I finished your point on it.
One of the scarier kind of moments we've seen in a while, at least in the top division, where Takayasu goes down and immediately visibly in pain. He's kind of shaking, like he's trying to get back up. He can't quite do it. Reminds me of something we saw with Takakeisho once, where like he was trying to push himself up, but he just couldn't do it. And the way when Takayasu did finally get up, the way he was walking was very off balance. You could see like his eyes were glassed over. He was not fully there. I don't know what they would have done if like when I was watching before the Takakeisho Abi match started, I'm like, if Takakeisho wins this, do they rematch Takakeisho versus Abi to get 2 in a row, or does Takakeisho just win by default?
Yeah, I was left with questions.
And I would have been infuriated. There's no way they could have walked Takayasu out there. He was still sitting at ringside, like he was going to go out there if necessary. But there's no way you can walk Takayasu out there for another match if Takakeisho wins that.
No way.
But it's the JSA, so they might have.
They would have all just stood around awkwardly, like waiting for him to be okay.
Yeah.
Well, it sucked. But yeah, I was gonna say like the actual hit itself. It's like, as you know, it's like the thing you don't expect. That's the thing that kind of wrecks you. Like if you see the hit coming, you can kind of brace for it, and it's not as bad. But like that Henka obviously surprised even Takayasu. And like he's one famously who doesn't put his head down like during a Tachi. He always does like that kind of like little shoulder blast every time. Like he avoids like head hits during Tachi. And this one just kind of took him by surprise because Abi was a lot higher than he was supposed to be.
Abi's body was a lot further over to Takayasu's right than Takayasu was expecting.
Exactly. Like, and his chest was a lot higher too. Like, and so he just kind of like hit right against it. And apparently like he just didn't expect it. And that's like all it kind of took right there.
Yeah. Let's go back to the Henka, because we had good Henka discussion after the Aki Basho, where we determined what our Henka Mount Rushmore was. Where it currently stands prior to Abi versus Takayasu is Teruno Fuji versus Koto Shokiku. Teruno Fuji costing Koto Shokiku re-promotion to Ozeki. Hakuho versus Kisei no Sato. I don't remember exactly what was on the line for that one, but 2 high-profile Rikishi at the very least. It was one that was before our time.
Yeah, this was one that was recommended to us, but it was before 2016-ish when we started watching.
That was probably the playoff one.
I don't think it was a
playoff.
I know Hakuho did one in playoff. And it might have been, it might have been against Harumafuji or
I think Harumafuji sounds right.
The Harumafuji one was he Henka'd to win the U-show. It wasn't in a playoff. That's the one that like spurred the article that I read that kind of got me into sumo the first time.
I might be wrong then. Yeah.
Had Harumafuji won that one, Hakuho versus Kiseno Sato would have been a playoff. This is in like 2015, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, if there's one between Hakuho and Kiseno Sato, that's not one that I think we actually saw.
I don't think we've seen it.
No, not that we've seen. Tochinoshin versus Kakuryu, where
that one we've seen.
Tochinoshin got back his Ozeki rank with that Heika and simultaneously cost Kakuryu the U-show. And then we had, I believe, Takakeisho versus Hokuto Fuji from the last Basho. Hokuto Fuji was going strong, but not nearly as much on the line there. So do we think Takayasu versus Abi, at least from matches that we have seen in the time we have watched sumo wrestling, does it belong on the Henka Mount Rushmore, our Henka Hall of Fame, occurring in a playoff match?
I think that some of the arguments in favor would be mainly for the context of it.
Mhm.
The absolute balls to do that in a playoff. Again, working against it would be that it wasn't a very good Henka in general.
Yeah, true.
But it played into the overall outcome of the tournament.
Mhm. I think unless we're considering Takakeisho versus Hokuto Fuji, like if we combine that with the next day when Takakeisho got Henka'd right back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then I think that one's the stronger one. But I don't know. I think that's the weak link on our Mount Rushmore here. What do you
Yeah,
guys think?
that's what I was thinking. I think probably knock out the Takakeisho Hokuto Fuji one, unless we want to do like 3 faces for that spot on Mount Rushmore where we throw Wakataka Kage in there, just have them be a
Hecate?
package deal. And then I might say let's toss Hakuho Kisa no Sato. Let's make it Henkas that we have
We've seen.
since
I
we've been
like that
watching.
better. I like that better.
So I think that's what we do here. I think we replace Hakuho Kisa no Sato with Abi Takayasu. We have 4 super solid Henka, 5 Henkas in a group of 4 that are iconic that we have watched. How does that sit with you, Fleric? You're very blurry right now.
Wait. What is his title?
Indeed.
Yokozuna Fleric. My goodness. Thank you.
Right,
man.
your Tsukibito.
I
Let's
forget
go.
myself.
As an Ozeki, I must.
Yeah. No, I think that's the definition that sounds good to us, like when we were watching, because it's like I remember hearing story. I could have sworn it was during a playoff. I know Hakuho had one big Henka during like a playoff. It was either day 15 or during some other one. But like, yeah, the ones that you kind of watch like throughout the whole tournament storyline Yusha race, those hit harder. They hit different,
yeah.
I guess I would say.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. So there you have it. Our current Henka Mount Rushmore. Hopefully we don't need to adjust it for a couple of years. Let's let the major Henka sit a little bit so that when they occur again, it hits a lot harder. But as it currently stands, Terano Fuji versus Kodo Shogiku, Abi versus Takayasu, Tochinoshin versus Kakuryu, and Takakeisho. Let's make it Hokuto Fuji versus Takakeisho versus Wakataka Kage.
The sumo narrative is messed up enough right now. Magashira winning the tournaments. Come on.
Cats and dogs living together. Yeah. But yeah, it's a gimmick that you gotta let it simmer.
Yeah.
So like I don't want another consequential Henka for a couple tournaments or so.
Please.
So you start to forget that it's a thing again,
Yeah,
Right.
it's like a Maegashira winning a Yusho. You don't want it to happen all the time so that it loses the impact of the historical significance of a Maegashira winning a Yusho.
And see, I used to be one of those, like, and we can go back to previous episodes where I'm like, I like when the Magashira wins because like, oh, they're not supposed to win. It could be anything. And now I'm like, okay, all right, come on.
Yes.
Let's get back to the upper levels.
Come to my side. Yes.
When you're expecting it, it's like, all right, I can't do this anymore. It's like it can't just always be a surprise. You have to have a defined level of awesomeness, and we don't have it anymore.
That's
You guys-
very true.
You guys watch Iron Chef growing up?
Oh yeah.
In the Japanese version of Iron Chef, if a challenger beat the Iron Chef, it was like monumental. It happened like single digit number of times, like that I can think of in like, dozens of episodes. And then they redid it in a terrible American Iron Chef, which was just the worst. But one of the main things that made it the worst was a challenger won like half the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's boring. It's like if you win at a casino, it's like, oh, haha, that's great. But if like you always won, it'd be like, well, that's kind of boring. That's just
I think
not exciting anymore.
Futurama did a thing about that. The guy that
is
always
that
won
where-
at the
is that
casino.
why
Wait,
God.
wait, I was gonna say, what analogy was that, Jake? I thought you made an argument against you. If you always win at a casino, it's boring.
No,
It
I
sounds
guess,
like with Iron Chef.
no, I think Mac is right. I think it's a Futurama gag.
Yeah, it's a gag.
Oh,
where
okay.
where somebody's like, oh, is
It's a
it one of
scary
the
door
scary
spoof.
door?
Yeah, it's a
segments?
scary
Yeah,
door
it's like,
spoof.
a casino where I'm winning, this must be heaven. And then he just keeps
Wait, a
winning. He's
casino
like,
where I always win? I must be in hell.
that's boring.
Mm.
That's
I will say though, like this year, like we've had a different Yusho winner for each basho. Like that's pretty. I'm
That's
still in
pretty
the camp
unique.
of I'm still in the camp. I like being the more people winning. We don't know exactly who is going to win. I guess I'm in that camp. I like the unexpectedness of different winners.
Yeah, and like Max said, my preference is always I like having people that are gonna be good and you can expect to win, because when they don't, the unexpectedness hits even harder than an unexpected thing happening every single tournament. That's kind of my thing.
And when you watch
fair.
sumo for like years, you know, you got the ones that stick out to me as far as individual basho that I like and that I remember are the ones where it was something that went against expectations, you know, something where you got to set the expectation in order to break it, I guess, is kind of what I'm thinking.
I'm always going to remember Tokushoryu won January of 2020. Couple years down the line, hey, which one did Ichinojo win? Which one did Tamawashi win? Which one did Abi win? It's not going to stick out with me. I'm always going to remember Tokushoryu January.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean, you'll remember all of them, Ryan, but like the rest of us won't remember which ones were which.
It has to have some form of significance in our brains.
I was just doing a mental exercise with myself last night, just seeing like how far back consecutively can I go naming Yusho winners, and I think I was able to go back to like 2018 before it's like, all right, Hakuho, Kakuryu, there's a lot going on in there. I can't remember exactly what's going on. But yeah, I'll probably remember these. Yeah. Do we need to say anything more about the Takakeisho Abi match? I think
it was fine.
It was okay.
Yeah. I will say,
I would argue it wasn't really okay. It was Abi pushed Takakeisho out.
Well, what did you expect? They're both pusher thrusters.
Well, yeah, but there wasn't any back and forth. It was all Abi. Like I said,
a big reason for that, and it's like, once again, I think the Japanese commentator Minan no Umi mentioned this. Takakeisho was timid at the Tachiai because of the Henka. Like, once again, the gamingship from Abi, like, it was like 4D chess move right there. It was, he was living rent free in both their heads, as people would say.
No cap.
Yeah,
no cap.
We got to toss in all of the current like vocab trendy terms for that kind of thing.
I think that one might be out now. I'll have to ask my wife. She teaches middle schoolers. She's pretty up to date with all the current.
Oh, it's almost certainly out, and I think that's why we should use it more.
Yeah.
Yeet for YOLO swag.
All right, so
the match itself wasn't impressive, but the strategy going into it, I thought was good.
It was okay.
Yeah. So Abi won a Yusho.
Cool.
So Mac, does Abi winning a Yusho or the way that he won it change how you view Abi at all? And like moving forward, does this change how you're going to look at Abi at all as a sumo wrestler?
No, because I've always viewed him as kind of a wily bastard, and this did nothing but reinforce my opinion of him. Just going, okay, you're just the troublemaker on the dojo. I can appreciate that. You are apparently really good at the head games because it worked, obviously. So, okay, you are just one of these weird, let's see what happens kind of guys.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's like, agreed. It doesn't change how I think of him. I guess it's just his ceiling is a little higher than I expected it, or higher than I have given him credit for so far.
I think for me, like, this changes nothing. Last time he was in the low Maegashira ranks, he got 12-3 record, and then he went up into the Sanyaku ranks, went 8-7, 7-8. I expect he'll probably do the same thing here. When he was coming back from his suspension and he got these 12-3s, I was all aboard the Abi Ozeki train. This doesn't make, and then he performed like he did in the Sanyaku ranks. And so this Yusho isn't going to change my mind. It's like, hey, he's going to get back up there. He's probably going to do the same once he's up in the Sanyaku. So I'm not thinking this makes him an Ozeki candidate sometime in the near future at all. I think this is just Abi. I see Jake just realized Sumo DB is down.
Yep.
Abi doing Abi things.
Yeah, Abi hanking to win Yushos. Abi's making Sumo DB go down. I think we are officially placing the evil moniker onto.
Oh yeah, no, he gets the Snidely Whiplash.
All right.
The Snidely Whiplash mustache award.
I think Sumo DB being down when I wanted to at the very least go and check like who his wins.
The ultimate Abi Henka.
I do have that tab already up. He lost to Maegashira 11 Onosho on day 4. He lost to Maegashira 5 Nishiki Fuji on day 9. I'm gonna say Nishikifuji ended up 9-6. Nishikifuji's fighting pretty well.
Not a bad loss.
Not terrible, but he should beat Nishikifuji. And then
Yeah.
he lost to Ryuden, who also ended up 9-6 on day 10.
So yeah, I would agree with you then. Did he beat anybody other than like any other top guys? Did he go against like Hoshoryu or
Yes, he beat
so-
Hoshoryu.
Beat Hoshoryu, beat Wakataka Kage, and then beat Yusho contenders at the time, Oho, Kageyaki, and Takayasu.
okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So
And
there's plenty of good
Takekisho.
ones in there, but
And Takayasu a
But
second
yes.
time in the playoff.
In the Tomoe
Yeah.
Sen,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Like
So
I
he definitely
like,
earned it.
yeah, he definitely earned it. Like he beat some very tough competition. Like whether
I
or not
guess-
like his other competition was not as up to par. That's the
Sure.
debate.
so he kind of had a couple wins padded there compared to the guys at the top of the Bansuke. But like who didn't he face that, would get in his way? Because like you mentioned, like you don't think he's gonna do as well when he gets higher on the Bansuke, but like who is up there higher on the Bansuke that would stop him really?
I wish Sumo DB was down and I would just go to the last time he was Sekiwake Komosubi and read
Sure.
off the name of his losses there. I think Abi's a guy that
I can do that.
If you
Okay.
Yeah,
So from July 2022, he was West Komosubi. He lost to Ura, Daisho, Hoshoryu, Shodai, Kiribayama, Ichinojo, and Meisei.
Yeah, so I think Abi is just a guy where he's clearly better than his competition here, and he got hot, won a U-show, beat the guys ahead of him. He was able to see that prize in front of him, motivated him. He was able to perform well. And then I
Yeah.
think once he's up in the Sanyaku range, he's facing a lot more 50-50 toss-ups. The 50-50s win his way this basho. They're not going to go his way for an entire basho.
Yeah. March, May, and July, he was 8-7, 7-8, and then another 8-7.
I will say, like, to bring it back to the question, like, how do we see like Abi a little bit differently now? Like, it's like his second week performance, like his clutch factor. Like, we make fun of people like on like, oh, they can't, once the pressure's on, they can't do well. And a lot of this is just Sumo is really, really hard. It's hard to be consistent against this.
Oh yeah.
But it's Abi was able to, like, when the chips were down, like he said, I have a chance against this. Like, he was able to pull out a great second week. I say, as I see most of his losses were in the second week.
Yeah,
So was most of his competition though.
He started
Yeah.
he started off week 2 with 2 losses, but then he won his final 5.
Yeah, and like also then the 2 playoff ones, and
Yeah.
like I've already spoke how I think, like, from a sporting perspective, it was fantastic. The way he did the whole Tomoe Sen playoff thing. But yeah, like he definitely has like a little bit of that when it was time he was able to go. Whether or not this would translate into other U shows, we'll have to kind of wait and see how the Bansuke develops. But like yeah, on this day, on these 2 weeks, he was able to perform and get that. And I think that is definitely worth something. It's worth a giant portrait in the Koguki-Con.
That's right.
It's worth a giant bluefish and probably a lot of rice and other such random stuff. And
giant bowl of sake.
You are absolutely right, Yokozuna Fleric.
mm,
Let's talk about more depressing things other than a Abi show.
Yeah, let's bring it back down to earth here.
Yeah. Ozeki ranks.
Oh,
Sorry.
ooh.
Ozeki rank singular.
Ow.
As it's happened. We didn't think it would happen, but
Someone squished the cockroach.
I think, yeah, are we all finally saved? Shodai is no longer an Ozeki. I'm not happy about it because I'd like there to be multiple Ozeki, but Shodai no longer being an Ozeki just feels right. So Shodai, he got a 6-9 record. Couldn't even push it to day 15. He had it lost after like day 13. Just obviously wasn't there. He had 2 winning records all year. So after 2 consecutive years of people wondering why the hell is Shodai and Ozeki, he doesn't deserve to be there. He finally isn't there. He'll have his chance to regain the rank, and I have mixed feelings on if I want him to get the rank back.
Goedo is just shaking his head right now, like you couldn't even last that long.
Goedo now officially better than Shodai. Probably
Well-
always was, but
Well, when you rank Hall of Famers against Hall of Famers, there will be some debate against it.
absolutely
Fair.
And then Mitake Yumi, he
did what we thought he was going to do.
No, that was
No.
perfect right there.
he's not even going to stay in the Sanyaku ranks after a 6-9 record when he needed 10 to get his Ozeki rank back. He will most likely fall down to the Maegashira ranks. He, similarly to Shodai, had 2 winning records all year. Started off the year great, 13-2 Yusho, 11-4 is his first performance as an Ozeki, and then something happened to Mitake Yumi, and lost his Ozeki rank, lost his chance to regain the Ozeki rank, and he's falling down to the Maegashira rank. So we'll see what's to come for Mitake Yumi. I have a feeling probably another 2 or 3 Yusho before it's all
He's going to go
said
back to
and done.
Sekiwake, at least in that sweet spot where he does really well.
Yep.
The last time he was a Maegashira was in the before times in March of 2020.
Oh, wow.
Before,
It is the
like
before times.
pre-pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The-
before that was all the way back in 2016.
Oh, boy.
He wants to get the one record that really means something to him, and that is the most bashos as a junior Sanyaku Rikshi.
He needs a couple Kimboshi to pad off that retirement
There you go.
package.
Yeah. What I guess I was almost hoping that he would never get Ozeki, if anything, just because then nobody who has gotten, let's see, how should I phrase this? Everybody who has won at least 3 Yusho has become an Ozeki.
Yes.
And Mitake Yumi could have, if he had just spaced things out a little bit, he could have been the first. But no,
Which
he
would have
had to
been
go on
more-
a good run.
That would have been more fun than this.
Yeah,
Than
exactly.
Finally
Yeah.
getting Ozeki after like being so close for like really 4 or 5 years, and then immediately disappoint and lose the rank. And we'll see if he can put stuff together to get it back. But I mean, odds
Oof.
are no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why I like the Hanka so much, because Takayasu, like, it's much more interesting that he just keeps on getting junior shows and just doesn't actually get the
Always a
cup himself.
bridesmaid, never a bride.
There is a breaking point at some point where it's just like you keep teasing it and it never happens, and then you just it's no longer as fun. This might be the breaking
tipping point?
for it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Like I said at the beginning of the
especially-
episode. Yeah. it's just-
especially with the injury. As a non-Takayasu fan who has been enjoying Jake's pain greatly, who laughed to the point where my wife had to ask if I was okay when Takayasu lost to Abi in the first time.
Carolyn looked at me too. She was like, "What are you going?" I'm like, "This is awful."
I think this is the last time that you can really do it with like people still believing in you. Like you got to win the next one. It's just not fun after this, even for a dick like me. It's just not fun after this point.
Yeah. How many
We'll
times are you
but
going to
we'll
do
see.
the same storyline?
We'll see if it happens again. I might still be laughing if he loses with a 1-day lead on day 15. We'll see.
Ugh.
And then Wakataka Kage, we talked about him. If he really popped off this basho, he had a chance to join the Ozeki ranks to bolster it. I was really high on the Ozeki. I thought we're gonna have 4 Ozeki coming out of this basho. He only gets 8 wins, really putting to waste his 11 win effort that he had in Aki. Probably, unless he wins like 14-1 or something, not going to be making Ozeki in January. So right now, our great hope for Ozeki, and probably wouldn't be until March, would be Hoshoryu coming off 11 wins, but he's got to do it 2 more times. I think Hoshoryu can. He got lucky a little bit in week 1, and then he kind of fell apart in week 2 a little bit. So I'm not thinking Hoshoryu is double-digit win guaranteed kind of guy off of this one performance. Not at all.
How about is Takayasu in any discussion for Ozeki? Like it's Mike 04 was his bottom one, but it was a double digit, and his last 2 have been junior shows.
No.
Or last.
No.
Well,
We'll see what comes of this injury.
he won't be a Sekiwake either.
No.
I think with both, if he had won the Yusho, I bet they'd probably open up a 3rd Sekiwake slot for him. Maybe.
Nope.
You don't think so?
They did it for Daisho when he won for Megashira 1. he was Komusubi next basho.
Yeah. Speaking
But coming
of
off of
forgettables,
like
I
2
forgot
Jin Yushos
Daisho
in
won
a
a
row.
Yusho.
Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I think Takayasu and Hoshoryu, this could potentially be like number 1 of 3, but I don't think. I honestly, even if Hoshoryu went like undefeated 15-0, do you think that might? Well, that would probably do it.
That would probably do it. There have been Rikishi that have had 8 wins to start an Ozeki run.
Yeah.
Like I said, if it goes consecutively, and you keep getting better and better, it can happen. Like we said, Shodai 8-11-13, Mitakayumi 9-11-13. So we could see something where Hoshoryu's at the 8-11. Probably needs a minimum of 13 in the next basho for consideration. I just don't see Hoshoryu getting 13 wins in a basho at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just thinking like who's even like technically on the list.
Yeah,
and I
it
think,
would be Hoshoryu, and Takayasu's probably number 2, but since he would be starting it with this Maegashira one. I know Flarik, he had 11 wins last time and 12 wins this time. They were both from Maegashira ranks. There's no way they're going to consider him. Even with like a 15-0 next time, they're not going to consider him for Ozeki.
I think
I won't be
think
surprised
he's on the
if
list.
maybe gets him up to Sekiwaki. I don't know. It'll be interesting because it was Mike Shear 4. Like once again, joy. Like he was going against the same competition.
Yeah.
So
I think Takayasu, this could be number 1. If Wakataka Kage or Hoshoryu went like 15-0 or something like that, I think those are the only 2 that could earn an Ozeki promotion in January. Takayasu, this absolutely could count as a first one.
Yeah. Bayama is the only other guy in the Sanyaku ranks that had a winning record, but it was only 8 wins this basho.
Yeah. And from Komusubi. So like he's not moving up.
He needs minimum 2 more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, likely, like you said, Jake, he's more than likely going to be Komusubi next basho. And
I guess 2 other ones flying under the radar, Kota Nowaka and Meisei both got 9 wins from Maegashira 1 and 2. That could be step 1.
I don't know that they're going to consider an Ozeki run starting in the Maegashira ranks with under 10 wins. I think
I'm just saying they're flying under the
possible,
radar.
borderline.
I know they're both long shots, but like they're the only other 2 that I can see that would even be plausible for. Yeah. And I mean, like, come on, if those guys get up to Komusubi, get double digits, and then do it another double digits in March. Yeah, I mean, I think they'd be in the conversation,
especially because we're hurting for Ozeki right now.
Exactly.
And
I'd be
our
curious to
one
see if that-
Yokozuna is coming off knee surgery, and who knows how long he's going to be around. Maybe they will be a little lenient with somebody.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if the what am I trying to say? If the qualifications are looser in a situation like this, where we are dangerously close to not having anybody at the top.
Well, like we said, when Asanoyama was promoted the last time, we had 1 Ozeki, and once again, that 1 Ozeki was Takakeisho, as it will be this time. Thank goodness for Takakeisho. We have 1 stable Ozeki. Oh my God, thank you. But Asanoyama 11-10-11, not really blowing the doors off anybody, but he did get 3 consecutive double digits, and at that point, they're like, "Okay, yes, please, we need
something up here."
It's you. This time, we don't have anybody that's coming off 2 consecutive double digits in the Sanyaku ranks, so it'll be tough. The rest.
how about Takakeisho Yusho? I'm not Yusho, but
Yokozuna promotion.
Yeah.
That could be a possibility. If I would be more likely to say maybe if it was a 13-2 playoff loss. I don't know that 12-3 is going to be good enough if he wins like a 13-2 Yusho next time.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see. It is Jun Yusho, and like
because then at that point, say Takakeisho wins the Yusho in January, and they say, "All right, you're promoted up to Yokozuna." Now we have 2 Yokozuna Ozeki and no Ozeki.
I wonder what they would do with that.
Yeah,
They would just leave it open, just this gaping O, just sitting on all the Bansuke's, just going, "Nope." What are you gonna do?
Every situation right now is kind of very interesting, and probably we'll see first-time Bansuke's soon with 1 Yokozuna. I think this will be the first. I think I've seen floating around. This is going to be the first Bansuke coming up in January with 1 Yokozuna and 1 Ozeki in 125 years. Before Yushos were even a thing.
Yeah.
So we're going to start seeing some weird stuff next year.
I heard Kyushu was the first Christmas tree one.
Yep.
Yep.
You heard that
Or-
from this podcast.
Probably from Ryan. yeah.
Indeed, Flair.
I know it's definitely Sumo forums because I do not listen to Kabanski episodes.
Fair, because I got that term from Leonard.
Yep,
at
Leonard.
Okay.
Tachi, and I know Leonard's on Sumo forums too. So
It's very possible, yeah.
we might have heard it from the same source.
Yeah, very. Yeah, like you say, first time Bonskes all around.
Yeah. 20 wild as 2022 was, 2023 is going to be something interesting. It'll first half 2023 is going to be very interesting to shape the future of sumo, I think. The remaining Sanyaku Rikishi we haven't talked about, and for good reason, because they all lost and they are suckers. Komusubi Tamawashi got a 6-9 record, and then Komusubi 2's Tobizaru Daisho both got 7 and 8 records. All of them should be dropping out of the Sanyaku ranks. I haven't looked at the Bonske yet to see what it's going to shape up for the next tournament. Haven't even begun to consider anything, but from what people have been telling me on Twitter, oh my god, this is going to be hard. Apparently huge log jam with, we've got 4 Rikishi dropping out of Sanyaku ranks. We've got like Wakamoto Haru, Sadanoumi, Midori Fuji, Meisei, Kotonowaka, all deserving pushes up. There's just not enough spots if we're not opening up more Sanyaku ranks. So
Yeah.
they're thinking it's going to take me a minimum of 7 hours to break through this, Jake, on the Bonske episode. So I hope you're planning on taking a sick day from work.
Well, I guess I'll have to make sure to bring the bathroom bucket in here so that we can just power through it.
Yep. Any other Rikishi that we want to make a note of before we start not talking about the Makuuchi Rikishi?
The 2 bottom guys on the Bonske, both
Ooh.
surprised me.
Mm.
Hiradomi. Okay.
10 and 5.
Yep, bravo,
Hello, man.
bravo.
He's 22 years old. He's a young guy getting into the top division. He's got a lot of lower division experience. 10 and 5 record. Let's keep an eye out on Hiradomi.
Yeah.
I
Oho
think
as
he
well,
has.
Oho as well. Like they're both super young. I forget that Hoshoryu and Oho are both like what, 11 years old or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, right. Sorry. But the 2 guys on the bottom of the Bonske, Hiradomi impressed me. Teritsuyoshi gets the coveted anti-Zensho.
The
Yep.
5th time it has happened in the top division,
Oh,
where you wrestle
5th
all
time.
15 days and lose all 15 matches. There's
wasn't
gotta
the
be-
last one Chiotaru?
No.
No. Okay.
I
Some
know
reason-
Yoshikaze got really close one basho. I think he started like 0-13, then won his final 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really thought that Takara Fuji would be in that conversation as well.
Ooh,
Um,
Sumo DB's back up.
Yeah, I
Go.
know, right? I wish they would just like turn a light on or something. But yeah, Teritsuyoshi, he didn't look good, obviously, but like he didn't look bad. You know, like he was moving fine. I don't know. He's just figured out, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Takara Fuji very obviously had like an elbow or a shoulder injury.
Mhm.
Ura even beat him like by focusing that arm, which I thought was, I mean, kind of a dick move, but also like good strategy. Yeah, I mean, if he's going to compete and he's got an obvious injury, why wouldn't you? But
Yeah.
Teritsuyoshi, there wasn't anything like, at least to me, that appeared super obvious different from the past, you know? I
Mm,
think people were just taking their time and using his size against him. So, especially
It-
Ichinocho, who just like hurled him like a baby.
Yes,
that was
that
hilarious.
was funny.
It's those
Sorry.
small boys that when you when like when you were missing a step, like it just looks really, really bad because you just gotta work that much
Yeah.
harder
Mm.
and tricky.
Completely off topic. I was checking something on Twitter. Sumo follower who we always thank for
Everything.
translating
Translation and stuff.
articles.
Yeah.
She's an interesting follow on Twitter because she doesn't hold back with her opinions at all.
Yeah.
I don't always agree with her opinions, but she was commenting on a post talking about how Abi was crying on the dohyo because his stable master has been in the hospital mid basho. He was hoping that the Yusho would bring him some happiness in there, and then he teared up. And then Supo followers replied to that was just crocodile tears.
Indeed.
Just absolutely vicious. Love her.
No, I'm with her on that one.
Anybody?
Yeah, no, I'd like to call out Wakamoto Haru mainly because I have had a change in heart on him. I initially pegged him to suck, and for 2 consecutive times he did not suck as bad as I wanted him to. And now having watched him for a full year, I'm like, all right, consistently 10-5 the past 2 tournaments, looks good in his matches. All right, I guess you can stay. I'll get behind you.
Yeah,
Mac
always
finally accepts him.
Yeah.
Yes, I finally accept you.
we like to rag on guys who struggle in week 2. Wakamoto Haru last 2 tournaments finished the final 4 days 4-0 in Aki, and the final 5 days 5-0 in this basho. So Wakamoto Haru finishes tournaments strong.
Must be
Sounds
something
good.
that runs in the family, I guess.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
weird.
not this basho for Wakataka Kage, but most of the time.
No, he was kind of like good but mediocre the whole way.
Yeah. Fleric, anybody for you stand out to you?
I'm gonna go with, I know we call him Malray, but Nishiki Fuji, like he's kind of rolled under the radar for me this past 2, but I think you called out, he's had double-digit wins, like what, 3 bashos in a row, not counting
Like that.
Jurio. Yeah.
Well, not counting this
3
one because he got 9.
Oh, okay.
He
Yeah,
was
not
9 and
this
6,
one.
but yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
but 9-6
point
at
stands.
Mike Shiro 5, like, and like,
Yeah, not
I
bad.
watching some of his matches, like they looked good. Like he had some like really good wins. He was really competing with that. So he's proved that he's here to stay, and I'm gonna keep an eye on this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back to Teretsu Yoshi, what a dick move by the Bansuke, or not the Bansuke committee, by the Torikumi people. Oh, you're 0-14. You're the smallest guy on the Bansuke. Have Ichinojo on day.
Go
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
the biggest guy.
Oh, man.
Watch it try to get out against Ichinojo. You
Was
guys
it
watch this.
me?
guys, check this
Who
out.
selected this match? I didn't do it.
Yeah,
That's just some mean humor on their part.
yeah, and like, Teretsu Yoshi, he can be kind of a fun guy to watch, but like after his like who did he get that first leg pick on? Was that Asanoyama?
When Asanoyama was an Ozeki.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Teretsu
And I
Yoshi
think-
got like a beautiful Ashitori leg pick. It was awesome. And ever since then, he's just been like spamming that combo over and over again, and it like barely ever works. And since he's done that, I don't really have a ton of sympathy for him. Not anymore.
Ball boy sumo.
But that combined with Nishiki Fuji, I think Nishiki Fuji is kind of like he's one of those guys that might be the next Teretsu Yoshi in
Oh
that
no.
sense. I do I've mentioned it before. I do kind of like the smaller end of normal being the meta right now with let's see, Wakataka Kage, Hoshoryu, Kiribayama, Meisei Ura, there Midori Fuji, Nishiki Fuji. There's these guys that are like not the big tanks of like, the stereotypical sumo wrestler. There's
Mhm.
the meta seems to be slightly on the small end of normal and just have more tricks in the bag than just straight pushing. And I think that's cool, and it's been fun to watch, and I appreciate seeing new guys like Nishiki Fuji and Hiradumi also on the small end of normal. Not tiny guys like Enho or anything, but like small end of normal, and just be more well-rounded in grappling, and it just makes for more fun sumo to watch, I think.
I've got a few real quick rapid fire thoughts. So Ichinojo 4-11. After day 14, he and the Okami-san that he has been rumored to have struck at some point were both called in, talked to the JSA for about like a half hour. People on Twitter and Reddit seem to think, oh, this probably means something serious coming. So we don't have any news on the outcome of that yet, but they have talked to the JSA. Probably something going to be coming out shortly, I would assume. Sadanoumi and Nishikigi both getting winning records in the top half of the Maegashira ranks. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, that ain't right.
I don't like it.
Azumaryu, 9 bashos in the top division, still no winning records. He
Close this time.
He was 7-5 after day 12 and lost his final 3 matches to secure. He's still going to be in the top division, but he still has no winning records in the top division. Atami Fuji, who made his top division debut, the 20-year-old, 4-11 at one point. He had like 8 or 9 consecutive losses. Just couldn't find his footing this basho, but he'll be back.
He'll be back.
Yeah, it's not uncommon for people to have a rough go their first time in the top division.
Yep. Oh, also, Onosho should be 10-5. Absolutely robbed
Yeah.
today.
I didn't get that one.
I there's been a couple of these where no Mono-e was called because it clearly looked like Daisho's heel hit before Onosho stepped out.
At least it's Tori Naosh.
My theory, I think it's TV time. I think my theory is that they knew a playoff was coming. They didn't have time to spend on a Mono-e and a Tori Naoshi, and so they didn't call it. It didn't affect anything in the grand scheme of things. That's kind of my conspiracy theory around sumo, is sometimes they'll cut Mono-es just because of time.
The guys in the replay
I definitely think
booth,
you're
like,
crazy.
Hang on, wait, let's go get that. Another call. Another blue phone. Just like, no, don't.
I have zero evidence to back it up,
Click.
but that's what I believe.
Yeah. They'll just do less sweeping between. That's how they regulate the time. It's absolutely true. Or they bring out the Gyoji, say, "Look at my art," or these are the matches coming up and
Look
stuff.
at my heart.
All right. So let's move on to our lower division Yusho winners. Down in Juryo, we had Oshoma. This is his first Juryo Yusho. He's been in Juryo for 3 bashos now. He's 25 years old, and he debuted in Makushita just 1 year ago. He had previously won a Makushita Yusho as well, so I expect him to make his Makuuchi debut probably in the first half of 2023.
And just for our listeners, when you say debuted in Makushita, that means he came from university, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And he is also Mongolian.
Oh,
Yes.
all right.
Yep. In Makushita.
And he also has sideburns.
Oh,
Osho-
does he?
I haven't paid enough attention to Oshoma's sideburns. Apparently, I'll have to check that out next show.
Really,
I
pay
thought
more
we were talking
attention
about
here,
Makushita. I'm sorry. But
No.
Tama, I am mistaken.
Okay.
Forgive me.
Ryan. I
Let-
guess we don't
Thank
gotta
you for
pay more
pointing this out, Tsukibito.
All right.
For making your Yokozuna look good. I appreciate it.
I'm always here to fix your mistakes, Yokozuna Flare.
Mm.
As we move down to Makushita, the very obvious sideburn laden Tamashoho won his first career Yusho in any division. He is 29 years old. He debuted in 2011. He's been in Makushita since 2015. He has yet to make it to Juryo, and this basho he beat Asanoyama on day 11. So Asanoyama could not win a Makushita Yusho in 2 tries. He should be back up into Juryo, so we'll see how he fares there. But 2 basho in Makushita, he wasn't able to win a Yusho there. Abi won back-to-back Makushita Yusho. Ryuden won a Makushita Yusho on his way back. So kind of odd that a former Ozeki was not able to keep his focus for 7 days and win a Yusho in Makushita. So it's kind of on my radar. We'll see how he does in Juryo.
Make a note of that.
And Sandanme Hitoshi, he has won his first career Sandanme Yusho. This is his 3rd career Yusho overall. He's 25 years old. He's never had a losing record since joining in May of 2021. But the reason he is not higher up the rankings right now is he missed 3 straight basho due to injury, which is why he's only in Sandanme at this point in time. In Jonidan, our Yusho winner there is Asashiyu. He is 28 years old. This is his first career Jonidan Yusho, his 2nd Yusho overall. He made it all the way to Juryo in Aki of 2021, where he went 1-14. Shortly after that, he missed 4 consecutive basho, which explains why he's down in Jonidan at this time. And then in Jonokuchi, we have Takaru Fuji, 23 years old, his first career basho. So a good debut for Takaru Fuji. Anything else, or should we just send it out to a break and break Jake's heart a little bit more afterwards with the GSB belt?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
If you enjoy the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Support the show on Patreon and check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Also, watch us on YouTube.
Dashi, you should sleep. You have a big day tomorrow.
I know, Papa Oikata, but I've been tossing and turning all night. I guess I'm just nervous.
Wait here a second. I've just the thing for you. Introducing the Comfy no Yama weighted blanket. This premium blanket is made with the highest quality blanket technology, contouring to your body to help soothe your stress and release tension. There you go. How does that feel?
Great! I'm feeling more relaxed already.
Clocking in at a soft 200 pounds, this blanket has been scientifically engineered to simulate deep touch pressure and mimic a gentle abise taoshi. Looking for a little extra snug? Simply slip a sukebito into the zipper lock pouch to get the exact weight your body needs.
More, you say? Ho ho ho. Asanoyama, get in here. Your senpai needs you.
Shut up, old man! I'm in Juryo now!
Not for another 2 months, you aren't.
Yes, Comfy no Yama weighted blanket. Get more out of your day when you sleep better at night. Order now, and we're included Kakuryu. Oh wait, Takayasu Yusho duvet cover. Free of charge. We apparently have thousands. Comfy no Yama weighted blanket. Order today.
Can you read me Papa Oyakata again?
Sure thing, Teshi. Ho ho ho. Papa Oyakata sat on the floor, smiling at Rikishi, bounding through the door.
So, continuing the trend of things breaking my heart for no reason. The stupid GSB belt did the thing again.
Wait, oh,
See,
again?
this is one of those things where I'm like, okay, we've played this card a lot. It's not funny anymore. Let's move on.
This is actually, for me, it's kind of starting to get funny again. It's like doing the full circle
Comedy
thing.
comes in threes.
So the GSB belt, we covered it more in depth. I'm going to try and cover it like at least like the 2-minute spiel on preview episodes so that we can refresh everyone's memory on it. But yeah, so this tournament, it started on Shiden, then Shonan Naomi, and then Asanoyama. Haha! Somebody up to Juryo. Yeah, the belt is finally going to move up to Juryo because it's on a former Ozeki who's in the top of Makushita, and he lost.
And it's gone.
He lost to Tamashoho, who held the belt until the end, but he is at Makushita 23, so he's not going to move all the way up to Juryo. Same thing. It's just going to stay in the single-digit Makushita until the end of time. So let's just move on. And this is a stupid sport.
We need somebody to either move up and face like a Juryo wrestler to fill in for an injured Rikishi and lose to that Juryo wrestler, or we need somebody in the top 7 of Makushita to win the U show.
What the hell are you guys doing?
It's baffling.
Yeah, they're just looking up what's going on top of the, in Makuuchi and like the pros, and says, okay, we just apparently
This is
if
the
you're
narrative.
at the top, expected to win, we just don't win, and you just drop down, and that's when you win your U shows.
Exactly.
So we just we have nothing but Shodai to blame.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, okay, that's fair. I had a quick note that I thought was interesting. Asanoyama meant to bring it up earlier. He had a one of those crossover matches. He faced a guy in Juryo, and he had his hair in the Oichomage, the top division hairstyle, despite being a Makushita wrestler. So I couldn't find any tape. I also didn't care enough to do a ton of research on it, but I'm curious if that's everybody who is visiting Juryo from Makushita, or if it's just former Sekitori visiting from Makushita. I don't know. I'm just curious. If anybody who's listening knows what's going on with hairstyle for Makushita visitors, let me know. That's kind of weird.
I'm gonna don't need to bring this up now because it has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
But here goes.
But just another comment that we've gotten on Twitter today at the end of the episode, at the end of the basho. Europe 1 on Twitter. Good job getting that name, Europe 1. I'm sure
Europe
a
1?
lot of people were going for that name.
First person from Europe to be on Twitter.
Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations.
Bravo.
But he just commented, in all caps, GSB, release yo goddamn end of the year survey. There is a side jumping dung beetle named Abi that needs to be slandered. So that is as good of a time as any to remind people that if you're listening to this podcast, our year and Rikishi popularity survey is out there. Hopefully you will find it on Twitter.
You will hopefully find it on Facebook. You will hopefully find it on Reddit r/Sumo. You will hopefully find it in the description of this video if you are watching it on YouTube.
Indeed, you will.
I
And
say
if
hopefully.
Jake remembers to put it in the description.
Wait,
That's why I say
I
hopefully.
added to the description in the YouTubes.
Well, in YouTube, yeah, but like everywhere else, I
Oh.
will have to make a note.
So yeah, if you are feeling some strong feelings about Abi right now and you want to mark him as your least favorite Rikishi, I would highly recommend looking out for that survey and fill out the rest of it, because we also want to know who your favorite Rikishi are too. But yeah,
Also, yes.
don't want to put my fingers on the scales, but highly expecting Abi to run away with the least favorite Rikishi this year.
The clear winner.
And I think
I'm hoping Takayasu will get a boost from sympathy as well.
Yeah.
He's never unpopular, but like,
Yeah.
I bet he'll be a little bit more popular than past years.
And I think Abi was our first ever least favorite Rikishi. In the first year we
think
ran
so.
it, I think he was the least favorite. Then the next year it was Aoyama. Then it was Chiyoshima. I think we're going to go back to Abi.
Abi.
I'm sorry, is this our third one or our fourth one?
Number 4.
Number 4. All right. We
Fourth
actually have some
annual.
trend lines that we
That's
can
right.
follow.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. And we promise we're going to post the results in a much more timely fashion. As
Yeah.
I can see the future. I have a very healthy December in front of me. Will not be beaten down with sickness. All right. Let's get to the champ chump results in a little bit more detail. As everybody here already knows, the greatest out of all 4 of us, Yokozuna Fleric, has once again won the prediction series 4 times out of 6 times this year. What more can be said about this incredibly handsome man? Such a good friend, I assume a very giving lover. This is a man who goes out on the day after Thanksgiving, goes out, plays pickleball with me, my dad, and some other random people, and then he runs like 4 miles later that day, having already run around a pickleball court. This is a man that is a legend among everybody else in the world. He belongs in the Hall of Fame of people, period.
I thought you meant detail on like how the prediction series went, not just more
I know,
detail
right?
on Fleric.
No. You be quiet.
You
so you can be
go
there,
on.
Jake. He's doing good work.
I'll
Keep it
have
up.
you know, according to our prediction series,
He's a
technically
very-
not a Sukebito.
He's a very hairy man. Just can't be denied. If you need a good snuggle buddy, there's none better.
Okay.
I would postulate
brought that
David
back.
in there,
Let's
but okay.
he grew his own blanket.
Lover of cats. Yokozuna
All right.
does it
We've
all.
gone long enough. Now talk about like, are we just talking about this basho, or I'm assuming there's
right now, just this basho.
okay, because I am curious about what the next bullet point is.
I
have a
will let you
feeling
know. I will
it
let
might
you
be
know
pretty
how
good.
the year-end predictions went. But yes, Fleric won. Takakeisho was his champ. Takakeisho beats all other champs, earning Fleric 3 bonus points there. And then his chump was Tobizaru, who actually ended up being the only chump selected with a losing record this basho. So Fleric,
did
once
great on
again, his prognostication is second to none.
Imagine
Mac-
if one was picked Teratsuyoshi. That would have been so many points.
But yeah, Mac came in second place with 21 points with a pick of Hoshoryu for his champ and Sada Naomi for his chump. Once again, Sada Naomi hanging out Maegashira 4, getting winning records.
What the hell?
What the hell is going on? Jake had Kota Nowaka as his champ. 9 wins, not
Fine.
disrespectable at
Yeah.
all. Kagayaki as his chump, only 6 losses. Not great, but it's better than me, who had Wakataka Kage as my champ. Got no bonus points for beating any other champ. He lost to every other champ, and my chump was Midori Fuji, who only had 7 losses and lost to and beat every other chump. So I got no bonus points. Also, I hate Midori Fuji with a 1,000 suns. I put no blame on Wakataka Kage for my loss. It all goes on
It all
Midori
goes to
Fuji.
Midori Fuji.
That little shit.
You know what's funny? If somebody had picked Teratsuyoshi as their chump and didn't even have a champ, they would have beaten Ryan.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think that is a fun fact.
I think it's pretty fun because I
All right.
squeaked away by the skin of my teeth on this one.
Yes, you did. So the punishment, as vaguely detailed on the preview episode, is Dr. Seuss.
Yes.
Question
I'm a
mark?
yeah. So what do we have any idea of what I need to bring to the table for the
Yeah, we've done this one before.
Hatsu?
Yeah, we've done it.
I'm just creating it, but I've got
It's a
two
Dr. Seuss rhyme of how badly you sucked with this
Yeah.
tournament pick.
But here's the thing. I've got 2 months to do this. Like, we can make it bigger, and it's me, so I'm willing to go bigger.
Illustrations.
You
want to, like,
clearly
add?
illustrations.
Before that, maybe
Do a whole
if you're
book.
looking for more work, that ad that most definitely happened just like a couple minutes ago between our break was the magic of editing that's going to show up.
Yeah. The ad that totally has been completed by the time of recording here.
Indeed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. I will strive to write like a book. A book-like thing. But
A
Dr. Seuss
book-like
books are
thing.
short.
Dr. Seuss book. Yeah.
It's
yeah,
gotta
Dr.
take, like,
Seuss books are
yeah.
short, and I will also try to include an illustration. No promises on the illustration, because it's going to be awful no matter how much time I put into it. But I will
Have your daughter help
try.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she will do better than me. All right. So yeah, I will have a full-length Dr. Seuss book for the January preview episode. God damn it. All right. So we made predictions at the beginning of the year for many different categories, and whoever did the best on our year-long predictions would be referred to by the highest honor on our year-end award show. That is the honor of Dai Yokozuna, an honor which I still feel great memories being referred to as last year as the Dai Yokozuna of 2021. It's something that will sit with you forever, and you will look fondly upon that.
Quit
day.
stalling.
No. All right. The first question we asked: how many Yokozuna would there be at the end of the year? Mac and I got it right on. We had one Yokozuna at the end of the year, that being Teru no Fuji. Jake and Flair were a little bit more optimistic, thinking Takakeisho would join him at those ranks. So Mac and I each got a point for that one. How many Ozeki will there be at the end of the year? I was the most optimistic. I thought we'd have 3 Ozeki at the end of the year. Everybody else thought there would be 2 Ozeki at the end of the year. All of us were far too optimistic, as we only have 1 Ozeki at the end of the year. Jake, you are muted.
Yep, I sure was. Yeah, I mean, up until like a couple days ago, you could have been absolutely
Yeah.
right. This
Yeah.
right down to the wire.
Yeah. Taking a look at who we all thought would be Ozeki, how things change. I had Takakeisho and Shodai, which was pretty close to happening, but I thought Takanosho was ready to take the leap. And he barely did he get no, he had 7 and 8 this basho, wasn't he? From Makushita, from Maegashira.
I believe so,
9?
yeah.
Yeah,
He was
kinda
one of the
had a bit
7-7s going into the last day.
Yeah, Takanosho, 7 and 8 from Maegashira 9. How the mighty have fallen, and how dumb I look now. Let's see. Jake had Shodai and Mitaki Yumi as his Ozeki. He saw the future, but he just saw the wrong thing at
Just
the end.
my timing was slightly off.
Yeah, he saw like Shodai and Mitaki Yumi and the word Ozeki floating in around Kyushu. He didn't see the word lose the rank
Lose
of.
the rank
Lose
of.
the rank of.
Let's see. Flaric had Shodai and Hoshoryu as his 2 Ozeki, and Mac had
Wow.
Takakeisho and Hoshoryu as his 2 Ozeki. Then we have, who will the 6 Yusho winners be?
So what are we at right now for points? Is it just 1 for each of us?
No, so for points so far, it would be 3 for Mac and I and 1 for Jake and Flaric.
Okay.
Bullshit.
Because Mac and I got a point for having the correct Yokozuna and for having a correct Ozeki.
Okay. So we have.
So right now it's 3-3 to 1-1.
Yeah. No, I'm making notes of this.
Yeah. Who will the 6 Yusho winners be? We were all
God.
we were all pretty heavy on 2 Rikshi. I had 4 for Teru no Fuji, 1 by Takakeisho, 1 by Takanosho. I got 1 point. Jake had 3 for Teru no Fuji, 2 for Takakeisho, 1 for Mitaki Yumi. Jake got 2 points. Flaric had 4 for Teru no Fuji, 2 for Takakeisho. Flaric got 1 point. Mac had 3 for Teru no Fuji, 1 for Takakeisho, 1 for Takanosho, and 1 for Mitaki Yumi. Mac got 2 points. So right now, Mac is sitting at 5. I'm sitting at 4. Jake is sitting at 3. Flaric is sitting at 2.
Yep.
who will finish the year with the most wins? We were a little bit split. I had Terunofuji thinking his health would be intact. Jake started the year off brilliantly with Mitaki Yumi, but then Mitaki Yumi fell off a cliff. Fleric also believed in the health of Terunofuji, and Mac believed that Takakeisho would be the man to beat this year. We were all wrong. It was Wakataka Kage.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Only 57 wins for the most wins in the year.
Huh.
Wakataka Kage is the
Wow.
Rikishi with the most wins for the year. If you take a look at our predictions for how many wins the Rikishi with the most number of wins would have, I had 76. Jake had 60, so he was the closest.
Yeah, and that was a very
A low
I thought
number.
that was a
Very
ballsy
low number.
guess.
That's
yeah.
a low number.
Yeah, the Rikishi with the most wins this year averaged less than 10 wins a year, which means no Rikishi averaged 10 wins this year.
Wow.
Fleric predicted 73 and Mac predicted 68. We also, so at this point we're still sitting. Nobody got any points for that.
Nobody got points for that.
That's fair.
Mac is still leading the race. Which non-Sanyaku Rikishi for the somebody who's outside of Sanyaku at the Hatsu 22 Rikishi would be in the Sanyaku ranks at the end of the Kyushu Basho. I chose Kiribayama. I got it right. Jake and Fleric both chose Hoshoryu. They both got it right. Mac was a little bit higher on Oho than he should have been. But you know what? Maybe next year for Oho. So right now we're sitting at 5 points for Mac, 3 points
5
for
for
Fleric,
you, 4 for
five,
Jake, 3 for Fleric.
5 for Jake, 5 for me. And then it comes down to prediction series wins. You get a point per prediction series win. I
did
got
good
a
on
big
these.
old goose egg on that. Jake
Yes, you
got
did.
2, bringing him to 6. Mac got 1, bringing him to 6. And Fleric got 4, bringing him from 3 to 7. And so Fleric not only is the Yokozuna out of 4 out of 6 Basho this year, he will be the Dai Yokozuna on the year-end award show. What a banner year for the
Well
Fleric
done,
household.
You know,
Fleric.
what's kind of interesting there to me is that those wins took him from last place to first. So I think what that says is that Fleric is terrible at long-term predictions, but really good at short-term predictions.
Absolutely.
I'll take it.
Jake and I split it at 6. I'm okay with that.
And much like this year, I finished in dead last.
Not your
I had it
year.
coming. 2021 was my year. I couldn't ask for 2 in a row.
Fair enough.
Apparently
All right.
not.
Let's move on to our bold predictions, where there's a lot more bad than there was good this time around. So our first bad prediction that we had, Arthur said Shodai would save Sumo.
Oh, God, no.
Which I don't know how he could have gotten it right, but damn it, I was pulling for him. But
If he was in that playoff, it would have
Yeah.
stopped the Henka.
Oh,
yeah, I
The
don't-
Henka would not have happened.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, but it's very wrong.
Showed I say
Yeah,
Sumo?
It's for sure incorrect.
it might be a long-term play. Maybe we don't see it now. Maybe Shodai dropping from Ozeki somehow saves Sumo. Maybe we got to look back at this one a year or two down the line. Teru no Umi 89 predicted a 7-7 Shodai versus a 9-5 Mitaki Yumi on day 15, where one would be Ozeki at the end of the match, the other would not. He was far too high on both
Oh, boy.
Rikishi's
Yeah.
chances.
No, they
for
both
the end of
blew
the
it long
Basho.
before then.
Yep. Hakioi Sumo News and Stats predicted that Mitaki Yumi would make Ozeki. Obviously did not. Asset predicted that Abi would get 8 wins maximum, plus like 7 more.
Plus 7.
Not so much.
Or 6 more, because he ended up with 14 wins. We're going to count those playoff ones.
Yeah, that's okay.
Cam Klein said that Atami Fuji would get a June Yusho with an 11-4 record and a Fighting Spirit prize. 4-11 record for Atami Fuji.
Yeah, flip that.
But-
You meant to flip that, right?
But Cam Klein comes back with a good prediction and also said Kakayaki would continue to be painfully mediocre.
Not
Which-
mediocre enough.
I would say prior to day 15, a little bit better than mediocre, but losing to a 2-12 Takada Fuji slams you right back into painfully mediocre.
Good one.
And then the only other one we had in our good side of things that wasn't our winner was from Axel Baravesio saying Shodai and Mitaki Yumi would combine get less wins than Takakeisho. They combine to get the same
Oh.
amount of wins as Takakeisho, but I'm going to count that because that's a good
that's a good-
prediction.
That's good.
Yeah. And then our t-shirt winner is going to be Brian Widmer, who predicted a Takakeisho Jun Yusho and for Ichinojo to lose big. So
Bravo.
those two things combined will make you the winner of a free Grand Sumo Breakdown t-shirt, Brian Widmer. We will contact you on Twitter to get the details for everything. And as for the winner of our previous Grand Sumo Breakdown prediction or bold prediction contest, Edward Beloff, who won an Aki, I completely spaced getting a hold of you. I sent you a message on Twitter this morning. So if you're listening to this episode, please respond to that message so we can get all the information, get you your t-shirt as well. Apologize for the big delay in doing so. Also need to correct a mistake that we had made on our midway episode when we were discussing the, at the time, 0-8 Teratsuyoshi and 0-8 Takada Fuji. We're like, okay, who's going to get their win first? And we had determined, it's going to be when they face each other. Of course, they're in the same stable. They can't face each other.
Yep, that was a goof on us.
So rough day for that stable, though.
Yeah. Atami Fuji, Takada Fuji, Teratsuyoshi,
they're all going down.
They're all in the
aren't
same
they?
stable.
Yeah. I think
Takada Fuji maybe.
Yeah, with that last win, like I said, I haven't looked at it, but that puts him very borderline
He's
as
borderline,
opposed to he's definitely going down Juria, but we'll see.
And Teruno Fuji just being Teruno Fuji.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not helping their case either. That's a bummer.
So Nishiki Fuji and Midori Fuji pulled out winning records, but not a great basho for Isekahama.
I have one more correction from our midway.
Ooh.
This is from Arthur on YouTube. He was commenting on our the research that you did on the best rookie class of Yokozuna ever. And you had that one class that when you
From
adjusted,
1910.
Yeah, when you adjusted for Yusho inflation,
Yes.
came out to 44.5 roughly Yusho for that class.
Yeah.
There is a rookie class that was better than that. And that was Takuho on his own.
On
just
his own,
Takuho.
he got 45. Yeah. So
Fair.
yes, technically Takuho as an individual is better than that rookie class that produced 44.5 Yusho.
Or the rookie class of 4 Rikshi that combined for 43 Yusho.
Yes, he is also better than that rookie class.
I'm starting to think this Hakuho guy was pretty good.
You know, I think he was good at the sumo.
Yeah. I miss him every day. All right. The less prestigious GSB awards, the first award, which I want to make a per basho award, the most evil award. This basho,
The Snidely Whiplash Mustache Award.
yeah, definitively goes to Abi. We have the anti-Zensho award, as we discussed, that goes to Teritsu Yoshi. The Not This Time award goes to Midori Fuji in his failed jumping Henka attempt against Takakeisho on day 7. You can't get an expert of the Henka like Takakeisho like that. He's a fine purveyor of the craft, and he knows a Henka when it's coming. And so he was able to sniff that out and easily shove Midori Fuji out of the ring that day.
And I've got one that I want to award. It's the Pancake Award, which goes to Ichi Yamamoto on day 13 against Tochinoshin. It was a good match, good back and forth. And then Tochinoshin just said, nope, and threw him down, laid on top of him. Ichi Yamamoto was laid flat, both arms spread eagle in the dojo, and audible splat.
Absolutely exhausted.
So tired. Yeah. No, I know because I have, as a sumo wrestler, you see,
Oh,
I have done a
God.
couple matches, and I think every single one of them, I end up laying on the ground in that position with that amount of exhaustion. So I got that. I felt Ichi Yamamoto there.
And then our match of the basho, our candidates are on day 5, Kotoeko versus Oho. Also on day 5, Hoshoryu versus Midori Fuji. On day 14, Daisho versus Ryuden. And day 15, Takayasu versus Abi, part 1, not part 2, as
Not-
Flair would
not
like to
part 2.
nominate as his match of the basho. And we are split once again. Mac and I prefer Daisho versus Ryuden, a great back and forth match where Daisho had Ryuden dead to rights. Ryuden was running out the dojo, but was able to stop himself just in time. Daisho thought he had the match won, so he didn't follow up at all. Ryuden was able to come back, get a belt grip on Daisho and win the match. And then Takayasu versus Abi on day 15. Yusho was
Part
on
one.
the line. Yeah, part one. Yusho was on the line. Both Richie were fighting like the Yusho was on the line. It was good back and forth pushing thrusting battle, which Abi eventually was the better of. Surprisingly, Jake also voted for that match to be.
It was a hell of a match.
It was a hell of a
and
match.
It's hard to get over the context of it too.
Yeah.
Like, strictly in the ring, it was a very good match, but like the context and like the amount of feelings I was feeling at the time, yeah, that pushed it over the edge.
Yep. So those are our co-match of the basho for the Kyushu 2022 basho. At the end of the year, we'll see if either one of those matches can win match of the year against the match of the bashos for our other 5 bashos. We've got a couple of questions from one of our $3 patrons. This being
Oh, all right.
Giuseppe. He has asked, what are your favorite foods and what would you eat huge quantities of if you were a sumo wrestler? Jake, let's start with you.
Probably junk food, but like
Oh,
once,
yeah.
I don't know. I absolutely have a weakness for pizza, but as
Yeah.
I am on the wrong side of 30, it now gives me heartburn. So it would probably probably be some sort of pasta or something heavily buttered. I think that would probably be the thing that would give me the most calories, and I could actually eat a lot of it.
For me, pizza definitely up there. Like hamburgers, you can go with all day. But honestly, just get me some boxes of Lucky Charms, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Frosted Flakes, and some Pop-Tarts, and I'll get as big as you need me to be. I'll do whatever it takes. You set the number and I'll hit it.
Yeah, you'd crush that workout.
Oh,
eating
yeah.
Pop-Tarts.
Absolutely. Sugary cereals and Pop-Tarts all day, every day.
Yeah. Open that box and give me 10 bowls.
Done.
Bulls.
I'll give you 12.
Push, eat, push.
What about you, Mac?
Ooh, for me, it's definitely cheese. I can eat almost any kind of cheese any day, all the time. Slabber it with a little bit of tapatio, have it on crackers, just exorbitant amounts of cheese.
I feel like the amount of just cheese would probably start to get gross.
Have
in
you
my
not
opinion.
seen me eat a giant brick of cheese just like an apple?
No, I
Oh.
haven't seen that because I
Oh,
would
well then
instantly
next time we
vomit,
hang
and I
out,
would never
you are in
forget
for a
it.
treat, my friend.
Yeah. I've
That
been there,
doesn't
Mac.
sound like a treat at all.
Oh, it is.
I
Especially
remember
good cheese.
up at Mac and Carolyn's wedding when we were up in Wisconsin, the stinky Limburger cheese, I think is what it's called. I remember Flerick and I enjoying it, and a lot of people not. Jake, apparently you liked it as well, but I thought it was
not something that
good.
I'd eat regularly, but it was fine.
Yeah.
But that's completely that was like we were tasting like cheeses like they were delicacies, not like eating a block of cheddar. Like some
I was
sort
gonna
of
follow that up
savage.
with I don't remember with Mac just like eating it like an apple, like he said. But
Yeah, that's
Oh
disgusting.
no, I'm just saying you can, especially if you go to like the
I don't need
Alpendale
advice
in
on it.
Monroe,
What-
Wisconsin, and just completely raid their cheese bins. You can literally peel it like a candy bar and just start eating cheese. It's fantastic.
I will take your word on that.
Yeah,
Flerick.
right.
Flerick, what would get you big and fat like a sumo wrestler needs to be?
Yeah,
Or
I'm
what,
starting to
What would you eat to
think of-
happily get to that level?
happily get to that thing.
Yeah.
I think most of the things were said, like pizza is probably the one food. Oh no, wait, I know what. Lasagna. I absolutely love lasagna. I
Do
would
you
eat
hate
that
Mondays?
all day. I do hate the Mondays. Yeah. You're right.
Garfield reference.
Have you ever lived with somebody named John?
I have a John who is my brother. Oh my goodness. This is all, and I also am maybe a possessed demon that is probably devouring everyone's souls as well.
Gonna need to elaborate on that one.
We're going
I'm
away
sorry.
from Garfield.
I forgot to include that in my great description of Yokozuna Flerick earlier. I apologize. I forgot you're an all-powerful Oni devouring all of our souls slowly.
Yeah. It's simple to forget because I am actually devouring that memory of that time at the same
Memory
time.
of what?
But no,
What are you
there's
talking about?
exactly.
Yeah, what?
No, there's like I don't know if you watch this like internet stuff where like they have Garfield just as some kind. They do art of Garfield, but he's like just kind of like a crazy like spooky like demon. And it's just
Really?
kind of like he's like the entire room. And he says, "I'm sorry, John," as he has like huge tentacles and like huge like spider legs, and he's like just
Cthulhu level? Like,
Yeah,
oh man, that's Lovecraftian.
exactly. There was a. I will share with it. There's a whole
find that-
subreddit called
I'd
"I'm
share
sorry,
that.
John."
Send us that subreddit. The one
it
that I'm
is
familiar with is Garfield without
absolutely
John. And that one, or
yeah.
Garfield without Garfield, and that one is hilarious. It's just John like talking to himself and like being awkward.
Yeah, it is fantastic. I'll link it to you pretty soon. But no, it would definitely be lasagna, pizza, probably most Italian food is just fantastic. Would be a really, really good time.
All right. And Giuseppe had one more question for us. If there was a child sumo club in your area, / if you lived in Japan, would you send your children into sumo? He says his wife has been strongly opposed to even the idea. I'll start with this one. I would say my answer depends. If there's a child sumo club in my area, would I send my child to sumo? Yeah, I wouldn't have an issue with that. If I lived in
Try it at least. Yeah.
If I lived in Japan and wanted to send my child into the Grand Sumo track to take part in the tournaments that we watch, no.
Probably not.
I would say
think
the
the-
only
Oh,
the
go ahead.
only exception, I don't want to send them when they're like 15, live in the Heya,
No.
and do that. I absolutely would not want that lifestyle for my child. I think there's a lot of things that can go wrong with that sort of lifestyle, and there's some bad things that we hear about what goes on in Heia's Ichinojo.
Plus, your child is a girl, and that would be very awkward.
It'd be
That'd be a
very
little
awkward.
awkward.
Assuming I have a boy at some point. But
Yeah.
I would say if they went like the high school track, they did like the amateur sumo, went to college, and they were able to debut solely if they were good enough to debut in like Makusha or Sandanme, where they quickly were able to become a Sekitori, then I would send them into Grand Sumo so they don't have to live the Tsukebito lifestyle a whole lot. But I would say in general, no, I wouldn't want them to go into Grand Sumo and live that life. But if it's just like an amateur fun sumo club, I don't have an issue with that, because you're not going to have, there's not, as it is in America right now, you're not going to have those daily repetitions that could really do damage on you. It's just a fun club thing. So I wouldn't have an issue with it here.
Yeah, I think it depends on the goal. If we're talking like a hobby, like any other sport that a kid does, I'm assuming chances are very, very slim that any of us would produce a world-class athlete that would go on to like win grand sumo tournaments or anything like that. But like just like karate or jujitsu or something like that, that it'd be, I'd let my kid try it. I will certainly push my kid into at least trying it a little bit, but but I think the big thing for me is the quantity of head trauma. That's it. I'm assuming if we're talking about this, that it would be like here, like if there was an Iowa sumo club that had youth members and stuff like that, sure, that'd be fun. Because it's not living in a heya and getting your head conked every single day, but like that.
Banging into the coconuts is bad, man.
Yeah. I mean, if put a mouth guard in and, don't lead with your head every time and, whatever, try it out. I think it's a cool sport.
What about you, Flair? Mac, you have any different thoughts on that?
Nope, I think you summed it up for me. It's one of those where like, go out and try it. And if you're good enough to, go to university, at least, high school, get a university degree and then go into sumo, absolutely no problem if you're good enough. But otherwise, nah. Do it for fun, but don't do it for reals.
Don't make a career out of it.
Yeah, no.
And then
I am strongly in the camp of no.
Yeah,
I would not be very
no
much
to
against it.
everything.
what
It's,
about just like a amateur sumo club here in Des Moines?
Unless there's like modified rules to make sure to minimize head-on-head collisions and such stuff like that. Like I would just not be comfortable at all. I feel exactly the same way about football, like American football as well. Like as someone who played it like in middle school and high school, I just the more what we know about like just concussions and stuff, and like a lot of it's not always the big hits. It's like the like you were saying, like it's
repetitive
like
smaller
the hits.
hits.
Like through practice and stuff, like, but it's just I personally just see like this, the risk is very high for a very impressionable ages at the time. Maybe
I
like
think,
if you're adult, like once again, like as you're adult and like how much control do you have over your teenage kid as well, it's gonna be really, really tough but it's just, I would be very much against it. And I think I would try to, hopefully they choose other sports that give you a similar competition and like the team sport environment.
Yeah, I think it would be wise if youth sumo does expand in the States, I think it would be a very good idea to have a little bit of modification to the rules to minimize head contact, especially on the tachi and especially among juniors. I will say though, in my 10-ish practice matches that I've done with people, nothing's ever really hit my head because I was trying to avoid that. So, you know, it's not like sumo's guaranteed every match to be head trauma, but I do think it would be worthwhile.
The risk is still there.
Mitigate it.
Yeah. And like I think at most every sport there's always going to be some risk. Unfortunately, you can't take away entirely, but there's definitely, like with sumo, it's a little bit more prominent than others.
And definitely with the amateur sumo, there's weight classes. So if they wanted to compete with people their same size, they don't have to go crazy to be competitively good at it. If they wanted to do that. And I agree with Fleric. Definitely, I wouldn't agree to let them join a sumo club if they're like 6, 7, 8 years old. I'd want them to be
even teenagers. I'll be a little opposed.
I know. I would have a discussion with whoever's running the club and see how much like head-to-head contact there is in it. If they try to teach away from that kind of hard tachi
for sure.
Because if there is going to be repeated head trauma, even in amateur level, I wouldn't want that. But if it's something I know that they're not really, that they might teach to avoid, then I'd be okay with it.
Use your arms, use your hands, avoid head. Yeah.
But yeah, I have the same thoughts about football, Fleric. I'm kind of torn on if my kid wants to join. I wouldn't let them play tackle football until they were in high school. And then I think it would still need to be discussion on even then if we would let them join. Yeah. It's tough to say no if it's something that if it's something that they really want.
It's definitely like once you get to high school age, like the kids definitely has like a little bit of opinion you have to consider and stuff. So
you got to let them do at least a little bit about that.
I
think we could probably do an entire episode on this if we wanted to.
It wouldn't be a hard no, but it'd be a discussion.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's go on to another question that we got from another $3 patron, Paul Simpson. He asks, is there a more chicken-legged rickshi than Chiyoshoma? Yes, Jake.
Ryuden.
Indeed. Thank you.
Yep. I've said it before. I'll say it again. He somehow looks more naked than everyone else. And it's just weird to me. But yeah, he is for sure my answer.
What are we understanding the definition of chicken-legged to be?
Thin,
Long,
skinny legs,
skinny,
large
Kisino Sato?
torso.
Kisino Sato, I remember like back in the day, like he was like all top heavy and just like had like long skinny legs. I'm pretty sure. Let me look this up.
I do remember him being like proportionately more torso than than most wrestlers.
Yeah. So I think he would be the definition of who that would be right now. Like you say Rick Ryuden, like I would say Abi's up there too.
Yep, Abi would be up there.
But I think you maybe got it right on the first try with Ryuden. He definitely he definitely has a lot of bare leg.
Yeah.
Going with him.
I think it might be that he is less upper body muscle than, like, visibly at least, than a lot of other wrestlers, and that's one of the things that kind of counters out the mostly naked part of being a sumo wrestler. Because to me it's weird. His body type makes him look like just a normal guy with a paunch. So like the fact that he looks like that rather than like a ripped guy with a bunch of extra cushion on him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ryuden's always looked too skinny and too naked to me, and I just don't. It's just weird.
All right, real quick, let's go through what is everybody's favorite moment of the basho. Sorry, Jake, the one moment that made me just laugh out loud just because of all the history that we have with it was Abi beating Takayasu on day 15. Plus, it also got us a playoff. So that's the moment I've got to go with. And I was also like, haha, Jake's probably really sad right now. Or was really
There's
sad.
a little bit of that for sure.
Yeah. Jake was really sad and in a vulnerable state, overtired at 2:30 in the morning.
Yep.
What about you, Jake? What was your favorite part of the basho?
I guess that it's done.
That's a plus.
No, honestly, it's kind of non-sarcastic because we do have a ton of work to do here in December. just for the podcast. And I am very excited now to wrap up the year from a professional and amateur sumo standpoint. Got a newsletter, got a popularity poll. We got a professional and an amateur end of the year award show to handle. There's a lot of cool stuff coming up. And I guess I'm excited that now we are diving into it.
I do want to shout out those newsletters you do. They're actually very informative and really awesome.
Thank you.
I think, how do you sign up for that? Like, you go to the Sumo Federation website?
I post it everywhere I can. It's primarily hosted on our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com. There's now a category on the side for
How do you sign up for the mailing list, I guess is my question.
It's not on a mailing list. I just share it on social media.
Okay.
I think I put it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, but yeah, it's all just linking back to our blog where you can find the full 10 to 15 page PDF that you can view or download from there. I'm looking into getting hard copies. I'd love to at least for like the end of the year wrap up stuff. That could be fun. But yeah, that one's a little ways out, and I guess I've only been doing these for like 6 months, so I still have a lot to learn.
Yeah, and they're fantastic. I recommend you check them out.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mac, what was your favorite moment of the basho?
Had to have been when the Tomoe-sen was guaranteed. Not necessarily the results of the Tomoe-sen, but just the idea. It's like that we're going to get a playoff, and it's a 3-way playoff. Just love it.
Yeah. Like I said, I think I hit on it at the beginning, but I never really clarified. Like, super disappointing 3-way playoff. First match was a Henka that resulted in
an injury,
concussion or neck injury for a fan favorite that really kind of brought the mood down. And then after that, you just have a lackluster quick win by Abi over Takakeisho. We didn't get like a long string of matches.
The fireworks
we didn't get long competitive matches. It was just kind of Abi mental domination.
But just the idea of a Tomoe-sen.
But the idea of a Tomoe-sen was
exactly.
fun.
It's like I was so stoked for that.
We were clamoring for it for so long, and this is what we got.
Yes, it's like it's anticlimactic.
Yeah. What about you, Yokozuna Flair? What was your favorite moment?
Yes. The playoff was fantastic. I appreciate the strategy from Abi. I agree with your sentiments of like the matches weren't great, at least from a spectacle. Other than strategy, but I will say probably the kind of low key was we finally got some turnover of Ozeki, of some of the underperforming ones. I think that's going to make some room for some new Ozeki in the next year. So I think I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah, and we will make our predictions before the January tournament of who we think will fill the role of Ozeki throughout the year 2023, and we'll decide who will be the Dai Yokozuna for the year 2023 before the end of this year. Actually, immediately right now that you are done listening to this podcast, go to Twitter, go to Instagram, go to Facebook, go to r/Sumo on Reddit. If you're watching this on YouTube, go to the description, click the link, fill out the Rikishi popularity poll, the 4th annual Rikishi popularity poll. Will Ura still be the #1 Rikishi? Will Chiyoshima still be the most hated Rikishi? We want to know the answer. We want to follow these trends. Please fill out that survey. We will have results before the end of the year. We will have a dedicated podcast to go over the results and some of the trends that we see. Who do men like more than women? Who do older people prefer over younger people? We're going to answer all of those burning questions that me and 2 other people want to know. In addition to that, we will have our year-end award show. We will have one on the amateur side with Jake and Mac. We will have one on the professional side with all 4 of us, where we will refer to Fleric as our Dai Yokozuna for the year, and we will crown villain of the year, Kimarite of the year, match of the year, basho of the year, the punishment of the year. So all of those awards will be given out on our year-end award show. Once again, that will be before the end of 2022. We've got a lot of work to do. The next basho, the Hatsu 2023, it's freaking 2023.
Good
coming
Lord.
up already. Will begin Sunday, January 8th. So that's the next professional sumo you have to look forward to. It is time for us to go because we've got some work to do.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time,
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.